Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Futsal Canada Futsal Referee Series, edition number 2. And thank you for taking your time on this wonderful Sunday to talk everything futsal referee related out here. And you will not be disappointed, as after our first amazing session with Peter Nurse and Marc Birkett, the dynamic duo from England, we have another dynamic duo right here from CONCACAF with FIFA instructor Shane Butler and one of the best referees of the last decade in futsal, Sergio Cabrera, who is now in the United States. Gentlemen, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us on our second ever Futsal Referee Series.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be here. Looking forward to talking some futsal.
That's great. And also helping us is Futsal Canada Chair of the Referee Committee, Alex Fletcher, the man who loves to cross his T's and dots the I's on everything futsal officiating related. And Alex, great to see you. How's your weekend so far?
It's been busy, surprisingly. It's the way it goes, though, right?
That's how it always is. Well, it's the fall season. We all know in North America in September, it's kind of the beginning of the futsal season. Tell me, gentlemen, how's things with you? How's preparations in this crazy COVID time coming along for the futsal season?
Sergio?
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. I'm so happy for interview for everything for the family futsal in Canada and the world. Thank you for the opportunity.
Chris, with the preparation right now, part of my role with the committee on the updated with the laws and stuff for FIFA, we're just still working with the updating the materials for the referees and for the confederations. It's been a busy year. I mean, COVID's helped with that regard, that we've really gotten a handle on the, as you've seen, the update of the laws came out this summer. We're now working with the laws and trying to get it better explained for the referees and instructors throughout the world. We're in that final stage of the process to get that stuff published for the instructors and referees to learn and to understand the better of the laws of the game that's coming. So that's really been the big thing, because there's not much futsal going on in the States as far as play with the respective 4 organizations. So that's pretty much what I've been doing right now. So.
Well, excellent. And obviously the biggest news in futsal officiating this last year has been the FIFA amendments to the laws of the game, which we'll definitely go in depth into. But, you know, for people who aren't big futsal nerds like me and Alex, you know, Shane, you've had a great relationship with us for the last decade. And Sergio, you know, I've met over the last few years and was fortunate to see him officiate in the 2012 World Cup in Thailand, and of course other competitions here and abroad, and would love to just, you know, share your experiences, adventure in your journey from, you know, starting futsal in, you know, your respective regions, all the way to the top of the FIFA's food chain in futsal. So I guess maybe we'll start off, you know, with Shane. You want to kind of give us a background on, you know, maybe how you got started into soccer officiating and kind of how you made that transition into futsal and, you know, kind of your adventures at the beginning there.
Okay. I started refereeing outdoor soccer football when I was 16. It was like most referees, it became a first job for me while I'm in school. Just like anybody who doesn't understand like the progress of moving up as an official, it's consistently, you know, evaluations, identification, doing good at state events, regional events and stuff. And I was fortunate. I had a lot of great mentors in the state of Missouri, too many to list, but I mean, I was one of the youngest guys with not a lot of younger referees around as competition per se. So I had the experience of 10 or 12 different mentors that helped me move up through the ranks. And again, I did MLS as a 4th official, and I did all the leagues, the A League back, you know, dating myself saying the A League back in the day for outdoor. And I did a lot of those games. And about 2000, and I was also, and I still do professional indoor soccer. So at 2000, around 2005, U.S. Soccer was taking over the futsal stuff as far as the referee department. It was always outsourced to somebody else, and FIFA had U.S. Soccer take over that department, and myself and Jason Karnak were more the upper level indoor guys back in the day that were young and again fit a lot of the criteria of what U.S. Soccer and FIFA wanted, and lucky for us that for me and Jason that Essie Bahamas and Herb Silva and the rest of the committee at U.S. Soccer identified me and Jason as the futsal referees under the U.S. Soccer brand at that time in 2005. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to be on the panel till 2017. Many experiences. That's why I met Sergio in CONCACAF, and, you know, he's a lifelong friend now. So, I mean, again, lots of great experiences. Went to the women's championships in Costa Rica. It's just been a fun ride. And, you know, I'm very fortunate, blessed, lucky, whatever your terminology is that people use. It's just been a good ride. So your turn, Sergio.
Shane. Yeah, Shane, what was your motivation for working towards the FIFA level of referees, futsal guy? Because I know you were a professional indoor ref for a number of years too. So what was your motivation on that front?
You know, it's a lot of times in the referee world, you're kind of given choices in your career path. And again, the powers to be at U.S. Soccer at the time, just my outdoor, could I've another, 2 or 3 years, maybe been fortunate enough to be a FIFA on the outdoor side if things would have fell at the right place, maybe. But it was more that, here was the opportunity and to have the FIFA badge on futsal. And that was just motivation. When I was 16, I'm a very goal-oriented person. And I write down, again, for any aspiring referee, if you write down goals and if you achieve them, fine. If you exceed them, that's even better. I wrote down I wanted to be a FIFA referee. And again, when I wrote that down at 18, 19, futsal wasn't even in my head as far as, I never had heard of the game. It was more, in our part of the country, it was a professional indoor soccer, and I wanted to work that league and be on the floor. And again, it allowed me to achieve the goal of being a FIFA referee, and it just presented the opportunity. So, yeah, I was just fortunate enough that it all worked out. So, but
always a good thing.
Yeah,
so
a good thing.
you, and I know you are a futsal referee instructor now, and have been since you came off the referees list. What was the process for you to transfer from being a referee to becoming an instructor and eventually a member of the referee instructor expert committee?
I've again, my whole career has been both
right place, right time.
Yeah. No, it's just been things just happening and luck again, good timing. 2017. I kind of seen the writing on the wall in a lot of aspects. I've been on the panel for 12, 13 years. We had a couple of aspiring young referees that wanted to be on the futsal panel that we identified, U.S. Soccer had identified. So it felt right to come off. Could I have stayed another couple of years? Of course. But it felt right to come off. And fortunately, around that time, there had been an opening on the instructor aspect. And fortunate for myself, Brian Hall and the people at CONCACAF gave me the opportunity to become an instructor for CONCACAF and for FIFA for futsal. Currently, we just discovered this in the last month or so. There's only 12 of us currently in the world. We're looking to add people to that list, as we increase material and stuff. And then again, another fortunate event when in 2019, when FIFA came up with this technical committee of experts to update the laws of the games, we went to FIFA. Myself and the other experts went to FIFA in 2019 in April to start the process of the current book you see in front of you. I was fortunate enough to again be picked by Brian Hall to represent our not only our federation, a confederation, but FIFA in this regard of the process of the laws of the game. So again, stuff I never envisioned happening. And again, fortunate, good luck. And I think working hard and having the aspect of a referee that just came off the panel's perspective, as opposed to some of the people that may have been off the panel longer. I think I bring that to the table too. So again, it's been all fortunate, and I'm happy to be where I am with it. So. And working with the
Thanks.
FIFA committee has been great. It's a lot of good guys. I've only met them a couple of times in person, but we've been doing almost weekly Zoom calls, and it's a great group of guys from all over the world. It's 5 of us, and it's again, it's ever evolving, ever learning experience, and hopefully we're all going to make this game better at the end of the day. So
That's what we're here for, right?
Yep.
Thank you, Shane. Sergio, on to you. First of all, you're from Cuba originally and moved to the US about 4 years ago now. How did you get involved, first of all, in soccer, assuming you started that route, and then how did you get involved in futsal?
The first is I started in 2000, and when you come into the United States is after the last one World Cup, and for me is new everything's for the competition in the United States, the organization to the tournaments, but property is the same family, the futsal. And the other problems is the language. It's different. And, I have practiced 4 years, but, but the futsal, the family futsal is great here and the other country, but it's the same family.
So after, I mean, you were on the futsal panel for about almost 10 years, and did some major games along the way, like World Cup final in 2012, quarterfinals in 2016, CONCACAF qualifiers as well. What motivated you to leave Cuba and move to the US? And what was the process?
Okay, in 2016, after the World Cup, I have the born for my son here in the United States, and is the complicated decision, for the political for Cuba and the United States, but is the best decision in my life. The futsal is my passion, but my family is my priority now. This is the really decision, my family.
Yeah, definitely. Family always has to come first, as we all know. So what was like I said, you did some pretty major games at the FIFA level and the CONCACAF levels. What was your most memorable game, and what's one incident from that game that stands out to you?
Wow. In 2012, in the game Kuwait, Egypt, is the qualifier group. It's the hard game. In the first 15 seconds, one team play for 5 players, and is the problem, 40 minutes play for 4 players in the World Cup is one touch play, and the people's after the game, or better, outside the core is the political problems. I don't know. For me, it's only the red team and the blue team. But do you feel in the other situations to the game? And it's the hard game in my life. It's complicated. It's the final score 3-1 and 3 send-off coach in this game. 3 coach send-off in one game in the World Cup. Very
setting a precedent
very,
here.
Very complicated.
You're definitely setting a precedent there, really. Thank you, Sergio. now we'll move on to some personal experiences, and I'm going to give you both a leading question as we look at a picture of Shane at one of the CONCACAF qualifiers from, I think, 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, looks like
it.
Both of you currently work in the United States with futsal programs there. What is the United States doing to push futsal and refereeing?
We have Alex, we have three big organizations that are doing futsal. There's a fourth one coming, and right now U.S. Soccer is still in that identifying step of finding events for myself and other mentors to go for. I mean, there's ones that we get sent to, but I think we need more of that to identify up and coming referees. And with the more stuff that happens out there, the more we're going to have the opportunities to send instructors, send mentors, and send coaches. It's still in the infant stage, truthfully, I think, with identifying the next FIFA referees for this for the United States. With anything, stuff costs money and programs need funded. It's as more and more organizations get involved, there's going to be more funding and more opportunities to get myself and others to identify and get people there. Sergio and Chris Grabas do a great job of the U.S. youth futsal events, along with Ed Marco. They do a good job in identifying and helping and getting referees better. I've been doing a lot of U.S. futsal events and events for the United Futsal. So, I mean, there's a lot of good teachers out there helping the referees come along. We just need all to be unified as an organization and then help the sport grow, not only for the players, but for the referees as well. Sergio? I think Sergio is muted.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
My personal experience, I started in 2000 in Cuba. The development of futsal is good. Cuba participate in the last 5 World Cups, and the players is good. The level is good. I practice in my school, in my college. I practice the different sports, but the situation is one meeting, national meeting in my college, and I have the opportunity to go to this meeting, but I never played soccer. And in this moment, I begin in the futsal. One meeting, I go and open the door and go to the classroom in 2000s, and this is my story. After this I am participating many tournaments in Cuba. In 2008, I began in FIFA. My first tournament with Shane is the tournament in Guatemala. I work in the final in 2012, Costa Rica, Guatemala. And the other big tournament is in 2014 in the World Tournament, the women in Costa Rica. And the 2 World Cups and the other tournament to the Caribbean qualifiers, and now in the United States. This is my history.
So Sergio, you're down in Florida, Miami, correct?
Yes.
What are you helping with some of the futsal programs there now as well with the referees?
I think so. The United States need to uniform to the old state. different states have different programs, but United States is the big one country, and this is the problem.
Si te está preguntando que si tú estás contribuyendo con
Yes,
acá.
in Miami I have maybe 6 referee. Javier is practice every week with me in the Miami League, and the other is the Naples referee team. We go to the different tournaments in Florida, and the other state, the National Young Championship. And I hope in the future, United States have many tournaments and deliver to CONCACAF. Canada and United States is very important. It's necessary. He have the top to the level for the players, referee, the tournaments, the organization for tournaments to pre-qualify for the World Cup. I know the other countries in Central America and the Iceland, Caribbean, don't have the money, the estructura, ¿cómo es?
Structure.
The structure. Do you need CONCACAF need for Canada, United States, if the first potential in CONCACAF? I hope. It's clear now. My English is not good, but my body language is perfect. Sorry.
Yeah, Sergio, your English is doing great. Don't
Your English
worry.
is perfect, buddy.
It's almost better than Shane's.
No.
No, to expand on what you were saying, Alex, like in Missouri, we have, because I can say these more because it's more my area and I can give you better raw numbers. So we have like 85 registered futsal referees in the state of Missouri. 60 of those are in the St. Louis metropolitan area. There's 20-ish in the Kansas City, Missouri side. There's more on the Kansas City, Kansas side, but that's a separate organization that registers them. So out of those 85 referees, we have about 14 of them, which I consider that second level, that next tier. So in the United States, we have basic referee, regional referee, national referee, and then the FIFA referee. So the U.S. soccer system currently only really has a regional referee and a entry-level referee for futsal, with the one FIFA referee being Josh Wilkins from Seattle. We have room for a couple more. Hopefully we will fill them sooner than later, but that's above my pay grade. I say that a lot. So anyway, with that, we have 15 guys that are eligible to do regional-ish competitions. There's not that many of them. There's the U.S. Futsal Nationals and stuff. And again, that's all based on a selection process, whoever the assigner is. But with that, I took 3 of my referees from my area to the United Futsal Championships in Florida. Sergio got to work with them. And again, to me, as you get promoted, you're better able to do higher level games. And I thought my guys did really good down there that did those higher level games. I just wish there was more opportunities. And again, hopefully down the road there, U.S. Soccer and their member organizations creates more opportunities for the referees to do games and they get better. And hopefully myself and other coach mentors can help them achieve higher levels. Again, that's the ultimate goal with the program. It's just like anything. You need funding, you need federation assistance, you need regional assistance, and good partners in the leagues or the events that understand that the refereeing is key to a tournament success and to the game success. And I think a lot of times, not necessarily the organizations see that, but I think we've finally made that turn where they are putting in more requests for resources of instructors and assessors and better referees. And it's just not this guys that do 20 games a day and don't want to learn anything. So I think we're making headway with that. It's just like anything, it's baby steps. So, and the game is growing. So when the game's growing and there's more playing, like I played. And, when players are done, that's again, like in outdoor soccer, we need to find former players, former coaches to help with the passion, with that same passion, because you need a good passion. You need passion to do this game. And you have those people that get involved, and maybe they can turn to refereeing, and maybe they can make something. Maybe they can be a FIFA referee. I mean, there's that's my personal goal with how this is going to go down the line. But
Well, Shane, you made really few great points, to say the least, and one of which was integration. And I remember the first time we actually connected in person was when we brought you and Jason Kernack up over from the States to the Toronto International Futsal Tournament, which was part of this soccer show about a decade ago. It's amazing to think it's been that long. Let me ask, what was your first, opinion on, I guess, Canadian refs and kind of their understanding of the FIFA laws and, kind of just working with, Canadian officials for the first time?
I never see my Canadian friends near enough, and Joe Audie and God bless Bob Tebow's soul, and a lot of great guys up there. And you guys like to have a few libations after the games too, which I don't necessarily mind. But no, I was impressed. Me and Jason had a good when we went up to Toronto, and whenever you said that was, it seems like a decade longer time ago. We thought the quality of play was good. We thought the referees were good. And again, it's always anytime you get put in a new situation, you don't know how the other people are going to receive you, or when and you guys received us with open arms. It was easy to work with the referees up there. Again, a quality staff that every time I've been to Canada, it's always been a quality staff of officials on and off the field, very professional. And I look forward to working with them again in many aspects, and hopefully when things calm down, we can work together and not only help U.S. soccer and Canada soccer get better with some more FIFA referees on both respective panels, but helps our region and the game grow within our North America. Because as Sergio said, there's a lot of games in Central America, and there's a lot more FIFA referees in the Central American aspect of thing, and I like that to increase in both U.S. and Canada, just out of pride, and also I do think it's needed down the road. So, but
no, absolutely agree. And, we've had refs go down south. We've had refs come up here, and the brotherhood and sisterhood within the futsal community, particularly with the referees, is very strong. As you said, everybody's trying to bring their game up and help everybody else bring their game up, which is a very important aspect. It's not a dog eat dog. It's everybody trying to help each other and elevate, which is so imperative for a growing sport in particular. And I guess one question I have right off the top is, you mentioned there's, 3 organizations, soon to be a 4th in the States, that would allow, different competitions, whether it be youth, adults, special tournaments, what have you. And in Canada, we have FIFA, and then we have, the unsanctioned groups, people doing 6-a-side, calling it futsal and stuff like that. But, the one thing that we're really interested in seeing that I think would take it up a notch, and I think everybody would be unanimous, but I'd love a referee's opinion on it. What would a professional futsal league look like in the United States and Canada for referee development, and how much better do you think our referee programs would be with that kind of new league?
It's a game changer, because futsal is more in the States. It's like, let's be honest, 95% of it's on the youth level. Okay, it's youth events with very few organizations playing a lot of amateur ball outside of some hot spots of Florida. Some places on the East Coast and some places on the West Coast. There's not a lot of affiliated men's futsal in the Midwest per se. They play indoor soccer, or they play hybrid versions of different things. So if you had an identified professional league, not only do you have a career path for players, you have a career path potentially for referees. I think we lose a lot of good futsal referees that don't try it because they see a lot of youth games, and they do that already in their outdoor career. They just don't want to spend 8 to 12 hours again in a gym with no career path. So if you had a professional league which is on TV, and the dream vision of 20,000 people in an NBA hockey style arena watching in the passion of the game. I mean, that's a sell to a referee. I mean, you talk about a 22, 23-year-old kid who likes refereeing, and you go, hey, you can go do this stuff in front of crowds and cheerleaders and dance, and all the hoopla that goes with those indoor events. That's an easy sell. You'll have referees coming by the truckload, but right now that's not there's no career path currently for a young referee futsal. Sure, you can have the aspiration of FIFA, but again, there's not a lot of events. So it's sometimes it's a little bit of a deterrent under the current system. A professional, like not only will you develop good professional referees, but you develop those tiers underneath there that aspire to be a professional referee. And, you'll probably get a good 50 or 60 good candidates to referee just because of the opportunity, whether they ever get there or not, but the whole game will benefit from something like that. And hopefully that happens sooner than later in my lifetime. So.
Well, Sergio, let me ask you, what's the club futsal situation like in Cuba? I know it's been a few years since you've been over there. I made my first trip to Cuba just about 6-7 months ago. Phenomenal culture, unbelievable sporting culture there as well. Great athletes across the board. But I'm curious, what is the club system? What's the league system like in Cuba? Do we have Sergio on mute again?
We may have lost Sergio. Just a second here. Oh, there's a new Sergio in.
No.
All the pressure's on Shane here on it. Well,
Sergio, did we lose you?
Well, I see him listed online.
Oh, his computer died apparently.
That's all right. Let's see if he's got that charger going.
Well, we can always just move on a little and come back to him after, I guess.
Well,
Fire away, wherever you got.
Yeah.
So Shane, you've refed at the FIFA and CONCACAF levels. What goes into those kind of matches as opposed to what you'd normally do for one of your regional or local matches?
It's more, the good thing about being at a CONCACAF event, you have all the distractions away. You're in a hotel room, you're in meetings, your total focus is on that event. You talk to your other crew members about what to look for from XYZ country, what to look for in this game. Is it a heated rivalry? Is it Guatemala against Costa Rica, where it's two regional rivalries with good history in futsal, as opposed to a team from Canada playing one of the Caribbean countries where they maybe not play each other ever. It's a lot more detail and input and a different level of concentration at those events. And then doing the games themselves, I mean, if you ever seen the video of, I believe it was Guatemala against Panama when the Domo down there, when there was 4,000 people and with bazoolas, and you came here yourself, think that again, that's a different atmosphere altogether. And the place goes crazy when the home team scores. And it's just something you don't get in a local regional setting. And it amps you up, just like players, good, referees get pumped up for the games and just as much as the players do. Again, we got to keep our emotions intact, unlike the players sometimes, but I mean, it's just everything increases, your concentration, your preparedness, and everything for those events. So that's kind of what you get the badge for, is to do those games. So, and the opportunities to go further.
And let me ask, with the CONCACAF competitions, I've gone to the last few as you have as well. What have you seen in terms of progress, not just from futsal within CONCACAF, but the quality of officiating from the last couple of tournaments over the last decade?
Like everything, it's improving. There's more, I mean, the referees in Central America are doing more and more games. I like to say we can do more and more games, but quite now that we're not doing as many as games as those guys are. The quality is getting better. The technical, the fitness is getting better. I think that's one of the biggest improvements over the last 15 years, that you have a different type of referee that's coming to those events. It was more, you got more of the athlete referees that are coming to those events, the ones that, look the part, can run, can manage a game. And the quality is only going to get better. The more and more countries, again, it's that domino effect. Again, more and more countries play, the more and more opportunities for good referees, more and more quality. And again, it's at these events, it's a competition among us. I mean, the top referees go to the World Cup. That's off the field training. That's knowing the laws of the games in and out. That's on, fitness. That's game preparation. That's game execution. It's all those things. So,
and I guess with the tournament that was slated for Guatemala earlier this year, going up to 16 teams, it's obviously clear that CONCACAF is growing the sport, and there's interest from the member associations to develop the game out there. Now, let me ask you, how far away in years do you think we are from either a women's CONCACAF championship as well as perhaps a U19 championship, similar to what UEFA and the AFC are putting up forward?
I think the more and more member associations that have these programs and have these opportunities for athletes, the regions will have those competitions. I think you probably, it wouldn't surprise me down the road within the next 5 years that we do have a women's championship or we do have a U19 championship. Again, a lot of that stuff, this is all opinion. I mean, that's, again, above my pay grade, but it's stuff that the game will, the federations and stuff will hopefully ask the confederations to have those opportunities for their athletes. And I envision in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll have more of those, hopefully sooner, my personal opinion, hopefully sooner, but again, that's stuff beyond my control. So.
And what's your take on with futsal in the Olympics? We saw it in 2018. Buenos Aires hosted the Youth Olympics and put in futsal. And by all accounts, it was one of the most popular sports in the competition. FIFA loved it. The IOC loved it. And unfortunately, Dakar 2022 has been pushed back a few years because of the massive amount of Olympic Games, winter and summer, that kind of conflict with it. Right. What's your take on futsal in the Olympics? Would you like to see it? I think that's going to be a spoiler alert question. B, would you like to see it in the winter or summer games? And C, just what's your vision of what you'd like to see with futsal in the games?
I would love to see it because potential opportunities that go there as administration, of course. B, I personally think it should be a winter sport, mainly because of 3 reasons. A, you already have football 11 playing in the summer. B, you don't have as many Central and South American teams playing Winter Olympic sports. So again, I think it would be a better identifier for the game because those countries now have something else to watch. I don't think there's a lot of curling in South and Central America or I say curling because I know where I'm at currently on who I'm talking to, or ice hockey or whatever. There's not a lot of those sports for the Winter Olympics for the South and Central Americans to get into, and even a lot of the ones in Asia. I mean, outside of the skiing events and stuff, there's not a lot of Asian countries, that Eastern Bloc, that other bloc that have a lot of winter sports that representation at the Olympics. From what I've always said. So I think a winter sport. The third one, I think it would be entertaining. I think it'd be great. You already have the venues because they're already going to be playing ice hockey on the indoor venues, and basketball. Again, basketball is a summer Olympic sport, so I would say they would have any country that would host that would have those venues. It's not something like you'd have to build a specific venue for futsal. So I think that's another plus too. So
Great feedback on it. And Alex mentioned that he's got a couple of questions for both you guys before moving on to some law changes. So, Alex, why don't you take it away?
So we had a question come up in the chat, wondering when futsal might be starting again in Canada, Ontario, and the States. What do you know what your plans are in Missouri and Florida at this point between you two, or is that still on hold with the pandemic?
So in the States, it's state by state what is playing and what is not playing. So currently in Missouri, we are playing football 11 outside in selected counties, we call them. So in the States, we call them counties within the state. So provinces, however you want to say, inside its own state. So in the area I live in St. Louis County, there is no participation in sports for people under the age of 14. The two counties surrounding me, they're playing outdoor 11 currently. How that transports to futsal, we don't start futsal in my area till like November generally. So that's a few months off, but we've tried, one of the professional indoor players has tried to host a futsal-ish event in the city. It's been postponed twice due to restrictions in the city. So that's where that's at. I saw the same question as far as CONCACAF. My understanding is that we're going to resume the CONCACAF Champions sometime early next spring. I think between March and May is my understanding. So I think CONCACAF is full steam ahead as far as playing, providing nothing changes. So that's when I know that's playing. As far as any member association, U.S. Futsal, USYSF, I think they're all on a case-by-case basis when they think they're going to resume. I mean, like I said, the United Futsal Group had the event in July in Florida, which I thought was very well run considering the pandemic restrictions. My understanding is they're going to have another event in the West in December. So hopefully with nothing changes that we can have that event with no issues. So again, it's organization, state by state, city by city, lots of layers of jurisdiction whether they're going to play or not, at least in the States. So
Perfect.
I see Sergio's back.
Yeah, let me see him on the camera there. Well, Sergio, welcome back. And
Yeah.
just a question we were asking. Hey, no problem. You look better now with that lighting in the background. It's perfect. Well, we were asking before, if you could talk to us about what the futsal leagues and clubs system is like in Cuba. We'd love to learn something about it. We don't hear too much about Cuba, but I was able to visit Havana and Veradero, and I was looking for futsal on my trip, but I couldn't find too much of it. So I'd love to know a little bit about how futsal is operated in Cuba and what the clubs and the leagues are like.
Okay, sorry first. In Cuba, have the national tournament one moment in the year is the final tournament, but every county or every province, you have the different tournaments to qualifiers for all Cuba to the final to Havana or the other side. Okay, the problem is now in Cuba, in the last maybe 10 years, is this more practice sport in Cuba. And every young play soccer and futsal, and it's different. In 1988, it's only play baseball, but now all youngs play to the futsal, footballs, is soccer, and the level for the players is up every year. And the futsal is easy to the play in the street and everything plays, and it's good for the development for the players or the tournaments, but you need the professional league. It's same to United States, to Canada. All country to up your level need the professional league. In United States and Canada have the great potential for the referee, players, coach, but need the professional league. You know, I live here in 2016 in Miami. The league in Miami, the league futsal in Miami is the high level. I have players to the many 7 countries, but it's amateur. Do you need the other level for a good development?
Excellent. Yeah, I was really surprised to see just how incredible the sport system is in Cuba in terms of the athletes involved. Just incredible athletes everywhere, especially with handball, basketball, track and field, athletics, boxing. Oh my goodness, they're absolutely spectacular boxers over there. And with futsal, Cuba has 4 silver medals at the CONCACAF Championship. So they are one of the most successful countries in the region. And so it was really great to see you at the World Cup for the first time in Thailand in 2012 and then in 2016 as well. Now, one question I have for you, Sergio and Shane, is we want to see, obviously, the sport grow, and a part of that is developing it in the female game. And Sergio, in 2012, there was a referee at the World Cup from Brazil, Renata Leite. She was absolutely phenomenal. Just couldn't believe just how incredible she was. It was an absolute treat. And she hasn't been around for a few years at the FIFA system. How would you guys go out and develop female futsal officiating so that we could develop more top-end officials like Renata to come in the system and stay within the system for a decade or 2, and then eventually become instructors with CONCACAF, UEFA, and FIFA? I'd love to hear your take on it, gentlemen.
Well, again, it's one of those things where if there's a women's competition, I mean, we're lucky in CONCACAF. We have 3 female FIFA referees currently, and not a whole bunch of female high-end futsal as far as confederation competition. I think if there's more competitions for the under 20 females or a women's national team futsal event, you're going to find more females getting involved and wanting to get involved. I believe at least in Missouri, we have about 6 females that referee futsal. I don't know the numbers at the last event I was at United. I believe we had 4 females at that event. So there is interest in the female. We just got to, just like referees too, we got to recruit good young referees and referees that want male and female to do this game and grow. Again, I can envision us having, at least in the United States down the road, 4 male and 4 female FIFA referees. But again, you just can't put FIFA referees on there if there's no competition for them there, because otherwise they're just going to sit around and do nothing. But there is potential. I mean, some of the other events I've been to, there are more and more female referees every time I go to them. So again, the opportunities down the road and the passion is there among the female referee community. It's just got to give them opportunities. So,
guys, the only problems to development to the referee, girls or boys, is the competition, is practice, study, and the big league. In Cuba, I have to only 20 games every year to the top level. The other is study, is view the videos, is practicing the other level. But in the United States and Canada have the old potential. The only need now is the professional league. It's the only problem. The one professional league is the only one problem for both countries.
Yep. Agreed.
That's perfect. Absolute. Well, Alex, I know you had a question sitting in your mind out there. Feel free to knock it out.
No, we'll leave it for the end as a seeding one for our Q&A if we need to, if no other ones come up by that point. I think it's best we move on to some of our law changes now, because we should get into some of those before people completely lose interest in hearing Shane's gangster rap in the background.
Well, I was just going to say, he's from St. Louis and so is Nelly. So the next time I see Shane referee, I want to see that little Band-Aid that Nelly has above his cheek. Be a new referee style. I don't know if it falls with the amendments of the game, but I don't know. If we get enough online support like the goalkeeper pads, maybe we can get that changed for you guys.
Yeah, with the goalie pads. I mean, that's something that FIFA came out with just recently. Our committee got sent the stuff from I believe the English FA initiated this inquiry, and they sent it to the committee to re-look at it. So we can start with Law 4 if.
Yeah, so we've got we've proposed to do four law change things here. We've got goalkeeper protection colors, some stuff on handball, some more on the dog, so guarded versus unguarded, and then talking about goalposts moving when the goal's scored, because futsal and refereeing is all about moving the goalposts all the time, as far as I can tell. So, knee and arm protectors.
So knee and arm protectors, it's the same color as the main color of the shirt sleeve. So the main reason is to make this more beneficial for all countries within FIFA. So you have very rich countries, you have very poor countries, and you have a lot in the middle. So we didn't want to make this restrictive that if the team was wearing, let's say, a turquoise top, they had to go get turquoise arm protectors and knee guards. That's just not reality for a lot of the member associations of FIFA. So we've kept it simple where they can be the neutral color of black or white, and it can be the predominant color of the shirt or shorts. What we want to get away from is having a black one here, a white one here, a blue one there, and a yellow one there. You don't want the goalie looking like a clown. You want it being very professional looking. So
I've got some examples of some of the ones here. Two of them with the colors of the uniform, and two of them with colors of the black and white neutral colors.
Right.
So do you want to go through and explain these quickly, just so it's clear?
In the first two slides, the first two diagrams, it's the arm protectors are the same as the shirt color, and in the bottom one, it's the same color as the shorts. In the one with the black one, it could be black or white, because that is a neutral color, but it looks professional. In the one with the green shirt, again, it's a combination of a color scheme in the entire. So the black one is acceptable because that is a neutral color, and in the last one, it's the same. It's just the white color is the neutral color. So again, I would suggest the referees use common sense. If they're in a youth setting and and they just got and they're wearing red and they have and they got red up top, and they just happen to, and they have to change shorts or they have to change shirt colors because the other team and the goalie has to change. If that's all they have play, this is more meant for the professional international game where it's streamlined and there's no questions about the knee and arm protection. We want ultimately want the keepers to be looking professional and not have all types of crazy color schemes going on. So
one question that came in was, can a keeper have arm protectors that match their sleeves but neutral knee protectors?
Yes. It just, you can't have one black one white one on the bottom. Yes, as long as not the sleeves, the predominant color of the shirt. So the predominant, so if the shirt is red and the sleeves are white, then they need to wear a red arm guards. up top.
Okay, so what about this one here, out of curiosity?
The last one, right? That is
Yeah.
not allowed.
But they
That's
all
a keeper-
match.
That's a keeper that can't decide what he wants to be.
I saw this one, and my initial thoughts were simply WTF. Like, I just couldn't figure it out.
He's matching. You got to give him. He or she is matching, but it's not professional looking. So
there you go. So that's the knee and arm protector colors, is a very high level thing. And again, that amendment, the newest amendment, just came out on last Friday, September 11th, and was sent out to all the associations that day.
Yep.
Here's a great one from Eric McDougall. If the team has checkerboard colors, like the Croatian national team, then what would you recommend?
white or black. White or black. Just keep it simple. Again, the laws are there as a guideline and stuff to enforce, but let's not lose track of common sense either. So, spirit of the law. So, hopefully they have black or white. That just eliminates a lot of the problems. So,
Common sense.
Yeah, and it is about the shorts color, not the socks color in these cases too, right?
correct.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to handball, and we've got two situations with handball that are of interest, mostly because these things have come up a lot lately, especially in the soccer world where they're being applied.
Right.
But the first one is accidental handball, specifically when a player gains possession or control of the ball after it has touched their hand or arm and then scores in the opponent's goal or creates a goal-scoring opportunity. Now, I'm going to proceed this right away with a question I got before we even started today. If this is an accidental handball and it's totally unintentional and it just happens to hit them, does it still count as an accumulated foul?
If it's an accidental handball that you're blowing a whistle for that leads to a goal scoring opportunity, yes, it's an accumulated foul because you're calling a handball. Accidental or on purpose or not, if you're blowing the whistle for the accidental handball that leads to a goal scoring opportunity or scores a goal, that is an accumulated foul. We don't discriminate intent because then that opens up a whole can of worms. So I'll continue with this accidental handball. So our thinking in the committee along with FIFA is that the accidental creates a goal scoring opportunity. So the easy ones are that quick change possession that leads to a promising attack instantly for the team that benefited from the accidental handball. Referees should not wait and see for those things because the game of futsal is so fast that if it's a clear goal scoring opportunity that develops because of an accidental handball, we need to whistle that thing down. As opposed to, let's picture the flying goalie that's out and it's an accidental handball by a defender who blocks a shot, who then kicks the ball towards the opponent's goal. That is more we're going to educate as that's more of a wait and see because if the shot goes wide, they didn't score a goal. And if it was truly accidental, then it doesn't need to be called in the first place because they did not benefit from scoring or a promising attack as opposed to the player that now goes on a breakaway because that's obviously an attack. But again, that's going to require the referees using good skills to wait. And again, it's not going to be a perfect world. You're going to have referees blow that thing down. But ideally, we want, if in the open goal situation on an accidental handball, to wait and see. It's going to be hard to do on that promising attack because of the speed of the game. So, that's just our take on it for right now that we're going to say in presentations down the road. As far as making the body unnaturally bigger, that doesn't, to those who do outdoor soccer, that's nothing really new. That's been kind of the way the game is going. Again, the nuance of futsal is that tight spaces, a lot of times a subtle arm movement makes that body bigger to control a ball handily. So again, that's a little bit what we have different in the futsal game as opposed to the outdoor game, that the tight spaces and just a move of the hand, even though it doesn't make the body bigger, they can benefit from it. So again, same futsal is unique with more sliding, blocking shots. If the body becomes bigger by a slide and the team benefits from the handling by being bigger, then we need to call a foul.
Okay, so rolling back to the accidental handball, because that's what people are really interested in right now, it seems. Of course they are, because this is the weird one. Let's be honest. It's something that is, football refs at the top levels are still obviously having trouble wrapping their heads around, and I'm sure it's going to be the same for futsal refs as well. It's going to take a little while to figure out. So it counts as an accidental handball that creates a goal scoring opportunity. And I've got a video example of one here that we'll take a look at it in just a moment. Maybe.
It's okay. It's a good site to those that don't know. Alex's futsal site's good. It's a lot of he's got plenty of clips.
Lots of them. In this case, we have an accidental handball. Say the team has committed 5 or more fouls already. That's going to lead to a direct free kick from the second mark for obvious reasons. Now, what was the thinking on that side of it? And I guess what were they weighing up when they were looking at this and making these decisions?
It's a futsal specific problem where if that happens in the outdoor game, there's no accumulated foul. And we've discussed this as our committee, maybe down in the future that this may change, but it's not something that's going to change prior to the World Cup unless something really crazy happens. I think it's a wait and see how many times this comes up in games worldwide and how much of an issue and how many second penalty kicks are being taken by result of accidental handballs that result in goals. I mean, if it's a very small percentage, I don't foresee it changing. If it's a greater percentage where this is becoming a problem, then you may see some sort of wording change that maybe an accidental handball isn't an accumulated foul. But that's not on the horizon anytime soon. So it's just going to be one of those things as a referee you're going to have to manage. You're going to have to be aware of what your foul count is and, just be smart about it. If it's truly accidental handball, you may just, that creates an advantage. You may be just easier saying it's a handball. Don't throw that accidental word out as a referee to the coaches or the players that, hey, it's a handball, and that's sometimes maybe refereeing is all about selling things. So if you can sell it, if you happen to be in that 5th foul situation, sell it as a handball. Don't go, hey, it was an accidental that led to this, because I think that may create more problems. But the black and white of the rule is if it's a 6 accumulated foul after an accidental handball and it results in a goal, then unfortunately it's a penalty kick. Second penalty kick. It just
and that's what may start to tip FIFA, depending on where those happen and how often, I guess.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure this is not going to be the only law. Again, keep in mind this is the first law changes we've had in a long time, and
6 years.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons why that happened the way it did, but this is what we got now, and like anything, there might be wording and minor improvements to send the game forward with it. And there might be things that we look at, hey, we didn't think about that. And it pops up in a half dozen games and maybe this needs to be tweaked a little bit more. And again, it's an ever evolving process. And I'm just glad we have the laws now and we have some time to work with them and see what happens with them. So I think at the end of the day, considering it's been 6 years, I think we came up with the committee and FIFA did a good job of getting it up to speed to where we're at now. So
got another good question relating to this, of course. Defender makes a block. There's contact with the arm, but it's not a deliberate handball by any stretch. It just happens to hit the arm. And about 15 seconds later, on the same possession, that team scores. Would this fall into that one we should penalize, or because it's such a long period of time between that time it touches the arm and then plays, what about then?
It's one of those, you're either going to call quick if you see it's an obvious promising attack, and the way you're describing it, that play started way back. So if there's multiple touches and you've already dismissed that it was an intentional handball, and there was multiple,
and just play on.
Let's just say multiple touches and then a pass to a teammate who did well. Either you realize it was an immediate promising attack. It's not a wait and see. To me, that's not a wait and see. It's either yes or no. And the greater the distance, the greater the number of touches, the less likely that should be called back, because there was a lot of things that the defending team, the now defending team, could have done to stop that goal. And just like you're not using the outdoor the unfortunate ability of futsal is that the pitch is smaller and goal scoring opportunities happen faster as opposed to the outdoor game. You have that happen in the defensive end of the outdoor game, and you got 80 yards to go down and score. Here it's 1-2 touch, you got a goal scoring opportunity. So
yeah, potentially, depending on how you play, obviously. So would you consider suggesting, like, I know when we talk about teaching advantage, we suggest, keeping, say, 3 to 5 seconds in mind. If something hasn't accumulated within that period of time, or maybe a little less, depending, that's when we pull it back. In this case, would you consider should we consider the same kind of thing? If something hasn't obviously happened within a few seconds,
just let it
move
go.
on?
I would move it on. Yeah, especially the more touches that the player has on the accidental handball to go down the court or to pass to a teammate, that's a lot of extra play. It wasn't directly, keep in mind what FIFA is saying, directly results in a promising attack or a goal scoring opportunity or a goal. A lot of space is not directly.
So let's take a look at our first video here, and hopefully this is a good example.
Blow it now.
So you're saying we've got this, and it's obvious there that we're going to have a goal scoring opportunity.
In my opinion, that is a clear goal scoring opportunity as a result of a handball, and blow it now. Because the longer you wait, the more dissent you're going to get from the players, and more things you have to diffuse as a referee. If the referee's opinion, again, my opinion of that is, once that player received the ball right there, turns and has that is a goal scoring opportunity, in my opinion.
When the player number 9 take the ball, immediately the ref used the whistle, but it's clear they have the opportunity to the pass to the number 8. In this case, is immediately they use the whistle, the referee keep, it's over.
I think I would throw in there, let's say the number of defenders was greater. Let's say that's 3-on-2. Then not so much, maybe, because that's not a clear scoring opportunity as much as a 2-on-1 with the keeper guarding the goal, obviously. But that's a clear goal scoring opportunity right there.
I would agree. All right, so let's take a look at the other one here. This is related to making the body bigger. And you can see it right. Where is it here? His hand comes out there.
Yeah, above the shoulder, making contact with the ball, and not, it's not accidental. That's his hand is in a natural position playing the ball. That's a penalty kick and a direct accumulated foul. And
thanks to the English FA for letting me steal this one to use.
They're okay. They're okay too. One of them's already said hi to me.
In this case, it's important the position to the referee. The referee need close the position, but for everybody is clear to the penalty. Do you have a bad position is the problem for the referee team in this case.
So is everyone pretty much clear on handball now? As clear as we're going to get today, because those are the only two video examples I have today.
That's always a Pandora's box with handballs. You can,
I know. Just wait for dog so.
2 days.
Oh, like I said, just wait for dog so, which is next.
Yeah.
So
we're going to keep this
big focus here.
Simple as possible.
I'm just the only because we talked about this with Marc and Peter about a month ago in a fair bit of detail. Right. And the one question that we got a few times after that session was, what does unguarded actually mean? That was not apparently clear to some people. And, you know, it is that thing, no matter how many times you explain something, sometimes you can't find quite the right words that gets across properly. Do you want to give it a whirl?
So our committee has spent a great deal of time on this with some debate, and again, that's part of the reason why we're in that final stages of creating this teaching material that FIFA will publish hopefully in the next 30-45 days once we get past the language issues and media rights issues. Is that all the instructors, all 12 of us, and all will have the same basis of material to go by instead of left up to everybody's interpretation of what they think this is. So where we're going with this as far as unguarded, if the keeper is not in the goal itself, it's considered unguarded. If he's outside the area, if he's outside and not in the goal and not in the penalty arc. But so if he's not in the goal frame, then it's not guarded per se. If he's not in that, show the examples and maybe it'll be a little bit more. Yeah.
So we've got 3 examples. This one is a repeat from our last session. So most of you who were on last time will have probably seen this.
First set of eyes on this. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. I'm clicking on the wrong one here. Here we go. So blue's attacking to the right.
That goal is guarded.
So if we roll that back to where the offense is, there's the offense. Mm-hmm. And there's our goalkeeper guarding inside the penalty area between the ball and the goal, basically. Right.
Yeah, so that's a yellow card and accumulated foul.
Alrighty. So.
Yeah, see that side, yellow card. Clear.
All right, so video number 2.
Simple.
And unguarded. That goal is very clearly unguarded.
Right. So those are perfect.
Our goalkeeper is somewhere back over
clear
here.
Examples of yes.
I went for as clear as humanly possible on these.
No, I get it.
So in this case, let's look at the actual where the foul happens, which is right there.
Right.
Dog, so we're not.
Futsal's got that uniqueness of, what's the direction? That's the only thing that, in theory, at the end of the day, is going to be the debate. But to me, that's dog so because the player, the goalie is denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity because A, he's not guarding the goal, B, he's not playing the ball, and C, he fouls the defender, or the attacker.
And if that defender right here is not there, this attacker has an easy one-touch obvious opportunity, right?
Potential what if is that a heavy touch? Is it going to the corner as opposed to going in? From this clip, from this point of view, to me, that's dog.
Sergio, you think that's dog so too? Yeah. You're going to give a red card?
For me, no. It's complicated by the number of the players, the control the ball, the distance. For me, right now is yellow, but is orange.
All right, Shane, there's your new directive. You have to
Okay.
push for an
No, I
orange
think-
card to be introduced just for Sergio.
No, again, that's the beauty of clips at times when it's not 1,000% clear cut like the other one.
Yeah.
There's interpretations. And again, I tend to lean that this is more dog so than not. I mean, if a referee gave a yellow in this situation based on it's what we do as assessors and instructors is, we ask what did they see, and their criteria why they made this decision. If it's, to me, on that aspect, if they give a plausible answer that they are convincing and it's not 1,000% wrong, then I'll generally go with the referee. So.
Yeah, in this case, it was given a red card, and I mean, I look at that, and it's sort of like, I think it's almost expected there, because it is that the touch is not very heavy. It's just past him, but maybe that's just me as well.
And again, so much, and forget the black and whiteness of the laws of the game. Sometimes, what does the game expect there?
Yeah, and just give me a second. I've got to go fix something on the slide, because the next one I screwed up and it's not going to play at full screen, and I want it to.
I think their game expects a red card at that point, truthfully. But
yeah, I agree, and that's why I think the referee was right in that sense. All right, so our third one. This one's interesting. It just happened this morning, and friend of mine, Steve Harris from Japan, reached out to me and asked my thoughts on it and whether or not I felt it was should have been a red card or yellow card, and why it was given what it was. So we'll show this one here.
No.
We'll stop it at the right point there. Whoops. There's the foul, and there's the goalkeeper.
that's guarded. The goalie's guarding the goal.
So this is obviously one that last year would have been red card every day of the week.
All day long.
So the follow-up question to this, which I was passed on prior to this get-together, knowing that this was going to be presented, was what do you think the likelihood is of people pulling really stupid, cynical fouls like this down the road at the next World Cup?
Knowing there's a free pass, essentially?
Or a free pass, as long as it's not excessive force.
I think unless we have a lot of problems with this, where it's becoming a cynical situation consistently, and I'll be honest, observing and doing games at the United one, I had one of these cynical situations happen where there was a foul that, he clearly just takes the guy out because he's on like a similar situation. And in my head, I'm like, I don't like that now, but that's the laws that we're dealt with. But I think for the greaterment of the game, you're going to have more scoring and stuff, because more scoring and less red cards down the road because of this. And I think the overall beauty of the game is going to be better because of the dog so thing. I think. I hope.
Hopefully.
Hope. Yeah.
So Philippe comments that the guard fence for that is hopefully going to be the accumulated aspect of the foul. So I guess
Right.
we'll see what happens, right?
Right. And again, if the same defender, again, that's the thing of futsal. If the same defender, let's say, does that 3 times, and you got him for persistent anyway, because he's obviously the problem. So.
Oh hell, if he does it twice, he should be gone.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like if he's, persistently disrupting it, and it's not necessarily a cautionable offense, that,
Right.
you can get him that way too. So.
Okay, so dog so unguarded, guarded, still very contentious, but hopefully a little clearer than it was 20 minutes ago.
The main things to remember with the guard is the goalie guarding the goal? And there are situations that he won't be guarding the goal, but he's still in the goal area. Being in the goal area in itself is not guarding the goal. So picture the goalie off to the side, not on goal frame. Let's just say, he's out in the corner, but he's still in the goal area, and the ball gets passed and somebody takes down a player in the middle of the goal. That's an unguarded goal. The goalie being in the goal area does not necessarily mean guarded. So
you're really driving at, to guard a goal, the goalkeeper must be in the penalty area between the goal and the ball, basically.
On the goal frame. Yeah. I mean, not, he doesn't, let's say he's on the post, that's the goal area, that's still.
Yeah, that's what I mean, sort of in between the goal, like sort of if you were to draw a line from the ball to the goal in between those two.
In the area and in the goal and in the goal frame itself, yes. But being in the goal area does not always mean guarded. If
it's not sufficient.
Sufficient, correct. Okay,
so and our last one, goal scored when the goalposts are moved. This is a bit of a new one, and as I was reading this, I thought that this was actually quite interesting. You want to give a quick thing, and then we've got one video here which has an example of a defender moving the goal.
So, I mean, again, it's to prevent the basis of the law is to prevent the letter of the law prior was if the goal wasn't completely on its anchor and a defender would intentionally bump it or whatever, you could not have a valid goal based on the fact that the goal wasn't on the goal line. It's a lot of it's similar to hockey where, and we actually made an addition that we're going to put tape or some sort of marking where the goal is actually supposed to be, underneath the post. That way, if the goal does get slightly dislodged, we have a point of reference to go by. That's another thing that's going to be tweaked in down the road. Again, if the goal is overturned by the defending, to go by what you're saying here, if the goal moved or overturned by the defending team, including the goalkeeper, where it's accidental or deliberate, and the referee confirms the ball passed over the goal line would have entered, it's still going to be a goal. If it's deliberate, it's a caution. If the goal is overturned by the attacking team, including the goalie, is disallowed because you can't benefit from knocking over the goal as an attacking team. And if you feel it's deliberate, it's a caution. I don't think this is going to be a high percentage of plays again. It's very low. I mean, you're going to have, I think, more accidental where a player's momentum carries them in than deliberate deals. But, we put in the laws now that, there is punishment for such actions.
Yeah. And amusingly, you say it's not going to happen often, and I have 9 videos of it already.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, for God. You are the video.
So in this case here.
Put you on staff.
This is one goalkeeper is making the save and, accidentally knocks it off as he's making the save.
That's a goal.
Yep. This is the best angle of it, actually. You can see how far it's actually knocked off there. And you can see they've got markers underneath where the goalpost should be, by the way.
Right.
So, yeah, pretty straightforward, hopefully pretty clear, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Again, what are we trying to achieve at the end of the day? We don't as referees, we don't want to disallow goals that normally would have been in if conditions were correct. That's a prime example right there that is nothing done maliciously. The ball would have went in anyway. The keeper's not, it's just a normal course of play. So why shouldn't we count the goal?
Agreed. It reminds me of box lacrosse, the indoor lacrosse game. In that sport, the goalkeeper is actually responsible for the location of his goal.
Right.
And if it's not in the right place, and the referees think it may have probably gone, and if the goal was where it should have been, they count the goal even if it didn't really go in because the net was moved. So that is our law coverage for today, and we've got some open discussion now. So if anyone's got questions, please just post them in the chat. One question that came in earlier was for both of you guys. What's one piece of advice that you would give to a referee doing a game at a higher level for the first time, whatever that higher level is?
Do what got you there. Do the stuff that got you there. If you're, you know, it's the game has changed. The level of the game you're doing has changed, but you haven't changed. Work hard. Call it. Don't change your game because the stakes are higher. If it's a foul on the, let's just say it was a U18 game that people were doing before, and now it's a professional game. Do the stuff that got you there. Now, of course, the level of play is going to dictate. Maybe you call less fouls or whatever, but do the same work ethic, have the same mentality, go through, you know, do the same habits, and enjoy the moment. And when you do games at a higher level, because they don't always come.
The points for the important game is the referee need the concentration second by second. No, the last one action. No, in this moment, you concentration 100% to the problem, to the action, to the many informations, to the both team, to the coach. And it's very important, the pre-game. The pre-game is very important for the team, the referee teams. It's now go to the game and wait and see the problems. Now, do you need practice in the night, in your mind, all possible problems do you receive in the game? It's very important. And concentration every seconds. No, it's not possible. You are tired? No, forget your fitness. In this case, it's very important. All the game is my experience.
Concentration, Sergio. Concentration.
Yeah. It's a body language for Shane and myself.
And
Shane,
we all knew what you were talking about.
No,
exactly
it's an
what you were
inside
talking
joke with me and him.
Yeah, I know, but we still all knew what he was talking about there, oddly. So Mike asks, laws of the game are showing a referee signal for an own goals to show the number 6, then point to the center circle. Why the number 6? I suspect that's because it's an example, but
Right.
the signal for a goal seems to have been removed from the laws. What is the proper signal now?
Just what you did before. I mean, it just
Point to center? So for an own goal, we point to center, and then when we're talking to the, I'm assuming Mike's talking about the signal.
Number, whoever, yeah.
Yeah, and then if it's an own goal, you point back to the to their end, as
Right.
opposed to just showing the number.
Yeah, minor details.
So possibly some minor clarification that that might need to for your instructional material, just to make sure everyone's clear on that.
There was a question from Christopher Pratt earlier out there. Was that covered?
Head cover?
Yes, yeah, the defender making a block.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we covered that one. That was the sort of when we were talking about you know, looking at you know, within 3 to 5 seconds. If it's going to be a lot of touches, a number of passes, then no, it's not directly creating one.
If you're waiting 3 to 5 seconds, that's a long time. That's a long time in a futsal game.
Yes, it is, and
That's
the case
a long,
there
yeah.
was 15 seconds.
You don't have that luxury. You don't have that luxury. You're gonna, you know, and we're gonna, you know, it's just gonna be the nature of the game. You're gonna have referees blowing things down early, and you're gonna have referees waiting, and you know, again, at the end of the day, we want to get it right, but we want to be consistent in our approach to getting it right too. So.
And I think some of that's just going to be learning and practice. You know, it's
Yep.
the first 4 or 5 times out, I may blow it down a little too slow. The next 4 or 5 times, I may blow it a bit too fast, and eventually, hopefully, I find the right median. And that obviously that's going to come from practice. So
yeah, it depends on where you're at in the world. That some as you're seeing with the clips you have, some leagues are playing, and then some leagues aren't playing, or some don't have anything for a while. So again, the referee, you can't expect the referees all of a sudden just to flip a switch and get it 100% right on their first day. You know, when they haven't done a game in 8 months. So
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Will there be VAR in futsal?
The Spanish league did it, and has had great success. I think it's going to become a monetary issue as far as whether it's going to happen or not. We hope it happens, but again, everything comes down to money, and it's not my money they're spending, or I'm not spending their money. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not spending their money. But again, I think down the road, maybe not the next World Cup, but down the road, that's probably a reality. Again, how fast that reality happens, we'll see. I mean, again, it all comes down to how many times in a game is this used, and what's the cost of using it, and is it obviously we don't want to miss good goals, bad goals, and we want the game to be perfect. But again, it comes down to money a lot of times too. But let's hope. I mean, it's I know it's something being considered by FIFA, especially with the way the Spanish league did it recently, and had great success, is my understanding. So it's on the table. Again, whether it happens or not, it's above my pay grade. So,
but only in the World Cup. I know in the other confederations practice to the bar. No, on the World Cup, maybe in UEFA or I don't know, CONMEBOL, but in the other confederation it's not probably the bar practice, or maybe in the I don't know the intercontinental league, but it's expensive, very expensive. But it's the future.
let's hope.
Yeah. So there was another question about the CONCACAF Championship and the Futsal World Cup and how COVID's affecting futsal. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that they will happen on schedule, or are you just hopeful at this point? Or are you not willing to commit to either of those and just say, well, this is the schedule?
My understanding is that everything is slated to go next year. Obviously, it's ever evolving, this COVID, but I think it's full steam ahead is my understanding. So until we're told otherwise, I would, for our CONCACAF referees, I would prepare for something early next spring, early to mid spring, and then hopefully the World Cup stays on schedule in that September, October region area, and life goes on. So we got CONCACAF's got to finish up. There's a couple spots left, I believe, in UEFA, and Asia still has to finish. So there's still a lot of games to be played. And again, they're going to be played under the new laws. And, again, maybe if there's a whole bunch of these crazy situations which we've brought up today that had an effect with these new laws, because keep in mind, the rest of the competitions did not play these new laws, and they're done. So there's going to be quirks that come up that maybe hasn't come up before, like you showed in these clips at games. I mean, when there's more games, there's more things that pop up. Maybe if there's a whole bunch of these accidental handballs that results in goals that come up, maybe we make a change before the World Cup. I don't know, but so.
Well, one question we have is from Andrea Benton out in British Columbia. She's one of the hosts, along with Alvaro Almeida, futsal coach, called Play Your Game. So make sure everyone check that out, focusing on futsal and soccer. But Andrea asks, how do you both feel about adapting the rules for different age groups?
I think it's a good thing what we did that with the amendments to the laws this year. I mean, the laws was that they can, for disabled football or for youth football, if they don't want them to throw it over the half line. I think that's good stuff. I mean, we want to develop the game, and too often when it showed up in St. Louis a long time ago, we didn't have futsal coaches. We had outdoor coaches that was coaching futsal and throwing the ball the length of the court and not building and making. So, especially in a lot of those areas that futsal is new, having some of these age skill-related amendments helps the game grow. So I like some of that stuff that FIFA's allowed. So Sergio? Nope. Okay.
No comment.
Okay.
That's fair. I mean, I personally like the idea of being able to change, and I like how you guys added how FIFA added the bit on, you know, national federations can make the decision in terms of throwing the ball, the goalkeeper throwing the ball over the halfway line, for instance. I thought was a really good amendment to introduce the option of.
In some leagues, like, again, being around this, a lot of places that have been new in the States, a lot of the like Oklahoma and stuff that hadn't had futsal until the last 4 or 5 years, is when you put these limitations in, it actually makes the game better for a while. And then, you go, okay, hey, now that you are playing, then you open it up, So if it's used wisely, you just don't make up. You can't have, like, as we call them, you probably call it in Canada the same way, house rules. You can't have like 30 or 40 different house rules because that confuses players. But simple ones like that, I think is okay for the game. So,
especially when they're, set at a higher level, I think is a good thing too.
Right. And the court sizes too. I mean, court size is a big deal with it too. I mean, a lot in St. Louis, we played in a lot of small gyms to begin with. I mean, not bigger futsal facilities. So, when you're throwing the ball the length of the court, you're not doing anything. You're just, in one case, I remember back in the day, the goalies threw the ball to each other like 4 or 5 times. And like, what's the point of this game? In the fields, and again, the facilities have gotten better too, where you got bigger facilities and more space. And again, that home run throw doesn't happen as often. They actually have to build, because otherwise you're going to lose possession of the ball. So, but anyway,
for us at the youth level, I mean, when I created the largest, domestic youth league in the country, a big thing for us was getting the touches. We saw in Latin America, we saw in the United States, in Canada, the Hispanic leagues in particular usually played on much smaller courts, and that forced the kids to be hunters or being the hunted out there. So I kind of like that quick touch development. And when I went to Brazil, I was absolutely shocked at how small some of the courts are. And, when I asked them, why that was, they said, well, this is why we have the most explosive first step in the world, in futsal and in footballs, because, we're coming from that small court. And then when we go to outdoor or a 40 by 20 futsal court, we feel like we have acres of space to, make those decisions and bolt out of the gate. So I do like the fact that the kids, at the younger ages are playing in a smaller surface. But for me, I think the only thing I kind of like to really, throw out there is the times of the game. So instead of, 220 stop clock, maybe you do 225, 224s, with the running clock, things like that. But, beyond that, the more uniform that you get the kids early on at an early age, the faster they develop when they become teens in higher performance matches.
And I like what some of these organizations are doing is, like, they stop in the last 5 minutes of a half if the score is close, just because it's not rushed. And I think a lot of times with that running clock constantly, you're rushing the players, you're rushing the referees. And again, it doesn't set well. I mean, it's not time consuming to not play games every hour in the hour. I get that. It's a business aspect. I get it. But if you maybe knock it down to 15-minute halves and then you start the clock, maybe you get true actually more playing time as opposed to a 25-minute running clock. I think players and referees get bad habits with futsal when it's a consistent running clock too. So, but.
Oh, perfect. And Alex, you got the next question coming up?
So we were talking about going back to accidental handballs leading to goal scoring opportunities. I told you This one was going to be a big one today, Shane.
That's fine.
One of the things you mentioned was that they were going to try and keep tabs on how those accidental handballs had an effect on the game. Are they only going to count the ones that are, sort of those 5th, 6th or more fouls, or are they going to look at how many times we have them in general to see how many times those accumulated fouls actually add up?
I think more on how many times that accidental handball changes the course of the game by giving the other team a penalty kick, because that has a dramatic impact on the game. Because if more than, let's say you had 3 accidental handballs that didn't in the course of a game, but none of them were 6 kick fouls. Okay, does it really change the game? Yeah, because you may have a foul count to deal with, but it's not dramatically, instantly changing the game, as opposed to we have a no goal here because of accidental handball. Now we have a 6 penalty kick shot, which results in the goal. Now the team wins 1-0. That's more what we're looking at, as opposed to you call 2 or 3 accidental handballs and you had 2 extra fouls. You know, I think we're looking more at game changing situations that results in.
Because let's be perfectly honest, most teams, and I'm going to say most teams because there are obviously a few out there that do not adhere to this style, but as they get closer to that 5th foul, they start changing their way of play a bit to smarten up, for lack of a better word. So theoretically, those accidental handballs, if they happen 10 seconds into the game or the half, you know, that's just going to train their style of play a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, maybe that's something we track at a World Cup or something, and just keep a tally of how many accidental handballs are getting called in a particular competition. Or we do that at Asia, or we do it at CONCACAF. We you know, somebody, you know, there's stats on everything. So maybe somebody does that and goes, hey, of 10 accumulated fouls this game, we had 3 accidental handballs, and if that's a high percentage down the road, maybe we address that. Maybe that isn't a accumulated foul. But again, we got to wait and see it happen before we can act on it.
So we've got another related to dog. So apparently our wording wasn't quite good enough, and we're still working on figuring out the precise words here. And I apologize to everyone that we've done this twice and we still haven't found all the right words. We'll get it eventually. But can we clarify one more time? If goalkeeper is just in front of their own goal, and I'm assuming in their penalty area, then no dog so can be committed. Is that correct?
Correct.
So there you go. If the goalkeeper is in front of their goal, inside their penalty area, basically between ball and goal, then they are guarding the goal, which means no dog so, which means at most it can be a yellow card.
Right, unless the keeper commits the foul, obviously. But yeah.
And we'll worry about those later, because if the keeper's committing the foul, they're not guarding the goal, are they now?
Right. I'm just, I gotta say, because somebody will ask, well, the keeper's in front, he's, yeah. So.
And it gets complicated.
Yeah.
So Chris, we've got a question for you. That there was the international futsal event in the past, which was around 2014 or 2015, as best we can remember. And Shane came up and refed up here. How about having another event and inviting Sergio to come ref with us now?
Sergio write that one?
Yeah.
It looks suspiciously like his writing.
Well, let me ask you guys something. Who's the greatest player you've ever officiated, and what's the greatest futsal game you've ever been involved with?
Well, probably the best player only played a few seconds in the game I did down at the PFL deal with Falcao. That's probably the best player I've been on the pitch with, overall player, not necessarily in that game.
90 seconds of game time he had in there.
Yeah.
It killed me.
For me, futsal was, a couple of the CONCACAF championships, doing Mexico and Guatemala, and I believe it was the year that Sergio was with me in the semifinal. The atmosphere was great. It was fun. The women's champion semifinal, I did it was great atmosphere. So those are two highlights. There's a lot of, all my time on the FIFA panel was good because all the games were different experiences. I mean, my trips to England was great experiences on and off the court. And I say that because Marc probably is going to smile with that, but no, they're all great experiences. I mean, to single it out is kind of not fair to some of the ones I've been to. So no, it's been a great ride. It was a great time.
In my experience, for the woman, is the final of the World Cup, Portugal, Brazil. In 2014 in Costa Rica, hard game. And the men's in 2012, Spain, Iran, is 2-2. the best team for Asia and the best team for UEFA.
2012, Sergio?
And the best player, I don't know, is many. The number 10 for Portugal, Ricardinho, is a great player. Great player.
Now, the game with Spain and Iran, that was 2012 in Thailand, correct?
Yeah.
I have a funny story about that where the coach of Japan was Miguel Rodrigo. And him and the whole Japanese Federation were about to go on the metro on Thailand, but I grabbed him and pulled him off the train because he was going to the wrong stadium. So we took a taxi, went to the match together, and Iran came back from 2-0 to tie the game. And the atmosphere from the Iranian fans was absolutely amazing. I still remember that arena so much. It was beautiful.
Great. And, you know, I remember to the final to 2012, my partner in the room is Shane. You know Shane?
Yeah.
When the committee initiated to the ref, and cry maybe 20 minutes. No, Shane, 20 minutes. And Shane, hey, take it easy. Calm. But this is my first tournament outside for Cuba. And the ref to the final. It's a great moment for my experience to the referee. And Shane is my partner in my room.
Yeah. Only English in the room.
Just like here today.
No, we had a deal. We ended up being roommates after the first round, and you know, again, my Spanish could be a lot better, but you know, he's like, "Don't worry, only English in the room." I'm like, "Good."
So what you're saying is you guys spoke with a lot of body language.
Yes.
Yes.
See, I got your in jokes now, Sergio. It only took 2 hours.
It's all good.
Well, last question for me is if there's one thing you would like to see changed with futsal, not necessarily even just a referee item, but overall with the sport, what would that be and why?
More of it. A professional league in North America, more competitions, more. It's a beautiful game. I don't think the sport gets its recognition, especially on this side of the continent or the world, I should say, of the world, than it does on the other side. And again, it's got a lot of competition in the North America sports market. That's an understatement, but it's a great game. I wish it would be more recognizable in this part of the world. And with that, everything else improves. Players improve, referees improve. That's my hope, is that the game just keeps getting stronger and stronger, and somehow there's a professional league sooner than later, or you know, something that makes this game unique that we all love. That's why we're all on this call today. So that's my hope.
CONCACAF need the Canada of the United States. Lead players, tournaments, referee. It's very important for the CONCACAF level when the United States and Canada up your level. It's I hope maybe in 5 years, all is different here. I hope.
Well, we will get a Toronto tournament, hopefully another international going on, and we'll hopefully keep doing some stuff with Otto Orff and Cleveland and all the great people around the Great Lakes area, St. Louis, Kansas City. Haven't seen John Perry or John Ciore in a while, and I know they like their whiskey. So hopefully when we get our event, we'd love to obviously bring Shane back up for his third event. And Sergio, you've never been to Canada, no?
No.
Okay, well, you wait till the winter is finished because it's not good.
My friend Dan Popescu, he showed me many pictures for the the cold. Is complicated for me.
It's very cold over here, but hopefully we're going to try and do something in Niagara Falls. We've been having some good conversations there, and it's beautiful. So when we do the event, you and Shane will come up, be our guests, and we'll see if Shane still has the lungs to run the 40 meters.
Oh, I still run. Don't worry.
He was just doing a women's college game yesterday.
Yeah, I worked yesterday. I still blow a whistle here and there.
So one last question, I think, before we wrap up, because we're getting towards 3 o'clock here, and I want to make sure you gentlemen actually have an afternoon to speak of on Sunday. And we'll start with you, Sergio, this time. Which game at the international level was the one that was the toughest for you, and potentially got out of control? And if so, how did you get control of it?
Again, Kuwait, Egypt in 2012 is a crazy game. The all players have, I don't know, is the tactical, the fever to the game, the political problems outside the core, is everything is what happened in this game? I don't know, but thank you for God, you helped me to control the game, and when they finish the game, I'm so happy. No, with me, no, it's for the tournament, for the World Cup. I don't know, but it's my hard game in my life. It's very, very complicated. It's not the futsal, is many situations outside the game. It's very, remember, it's complicated. You you two have the game, Kuwait, Egypt, 2012.
Well, the game that went out of control was the Easter Bash in Cleveland.
I was there for that one.
Yeah. Happy Easter to everybody. Yeah, that was probably like the craziest game, probably both football and futsal that I've ever been like a part of. That just total over all that chanting stuff after you get hit by the ball, screaming, yelling, whatever you want to do it. Other than that, a lot of the CONCACAF games I did was, in the championships were challenging, and again, you just hopefully rise to the level of the competition, but nothing like crazy out of control like that Easter in Cleveland. So yeah, hopefully we never see that ever again. But yeah, that's the game. So.
Well, perfect. Well, listen, gentlemen, that's it from everybody here. And just want to thank you so much again for spending a few hours of your valuable time here on a beautiful fall Sunday in North America. And if anyone wants to reach out to you, do you have social media? Do you have a website, a project? Anyone can follow your progress and ask any possible questions?
Facebook is the easiest one for me. Reach out. I mean, Alex does it a few times a week now, but it's all good. I get back when I'm not homeschooling kids and out and about. But yeah, Facebook's probably the easiest way for me. Yeah, everything's on there. I mean, I accept everybody. So, and I'm not political on my Facebook. So yeah.
Do you actually post anything on your Facebook?
Very rarely. Yes. Me and Krusty the Clown in the picture, but yeah, which will update at some point. But that's a story for another time. But no, if people want to reach out to me, that's fine. And if they instant message me, like I said, I get back to people pretty quickly. So most times. So Sergio's probably got like 15 different. Sergio posts all the time. So
yes,
him and his beautiful family. Yes.
Yeah, Facebook or my friends, I'm ready always for the foot family, the everything place. and ready for your help. And thank you for the opportunity. All the best for my friend, the Canadian referee, and I'm here.
Yeah. I appreciate being able to talk to you guys. And again, as we develop this material and stuff, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help you. I look forward to seeing you guys in person at some point when we open the border again. Look, I've always enjoyed my friends from Canada, and you know, and we have hockey in common. So, you know, it's always fun to talk hockey with you guys outside of futsal. So.
Well, that's perfect. Well,
Sergio needs to follow a hockey team. That way he can be more Canadian.
Yeah.
He's in Florida, so maybe the Tampa Bay Lightning now with
The Blues. Just follow St. Louis.
Dude, you were the one saying that you were hoping Tampa Bay would win.
I do, because they have a Blues player on there, Maroon. So he actually lives like 5 minutes from me. So yeah, I want them to win. So.
Oh, so what you're saying is you just want him to have the Stanley Cup and parade it down your street this summer?
Something like that. Well, he's gonna be back to back for him. So, you know.
Well,
I'd like to.
In case anybody missed it or came in late, we're going to be posting the session on YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube page for Futsal Canada, which is called Futsal Canada, you can find it on there in the next couple of days after we get some editing done. And pretty much that's it. So hopefully we'll get referee session number 3 coming up in the next couple of months. Stay tuned, because we have some big time names in the coaching as we go towards our first coaching series as well. So you will not want to miss those. And for more information, you can visit us, Futsal Canada, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the fun stuff that the kids use and we don't know how to. So that's pretty much it from our side.
I'd just like to thank everyone for their time today, both participants, Sergio and Shane, for sharing their wisdom and their time with us on a Sunday afternoon. And I'd like to thank everyone that showed up and asked questions and listened. Without you guys, there's no point in us doing this kind of stuff anyway. So thank you all for your time, and hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys. Take care. See you soon.
Bye, guys.